options, people like you wouldn't go anywhere near it.
Absolutely, and that's a good thing, isn't it? That's customer.
I mean, you're a great fan of what's it called?
Red Bull.
No, the takeaway place just up the road, round the corner from you. So
Subway.
Subway, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Me? No.
I think their bread is foul.
I thought you'd go there for breakfast every day.
No, I do. There are people in my company that do. They go there regularly for breakfast. Do you know, I don't like the
bread.
The bread.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's all doughy and papery.
But what they do, and what I am a big fan of, and I think a really good value for money, is their salads. They do a really good salad bowl with a nice topping for a couple of pounds, and it's very good value for money.
But if you remember, a few years back, there was a lot of controversy over the steak houses that offered these salad bars about the bacteria in the salads, wasn't it, and all that.
These people will always find something to moan about, but the value for money though is incredible, because you go to Subway and for £2.50 you get a fairly substantial breakfast roll with sausage, bacon, and egg in it, and a cup of coffee for £2.50. How can the local bakers compete with that?
Well, they can't, can they?
No. I mean, I went to the local bakers and I got myself a bacon roll, bacon and sausage roll, sort of a breakfast roll. It was £3.80. I'm going, £3.80?
How much?
£3.80.
£9 seems a bit now. £9.
I thought it was too much to pay. And as I say, when you go down the road, and Subway are offering that sort of a deal, it's no wonder that the local bakers are closing.
Well, it's mass purchases, isn't it?
A friend of mine was in London in the week, and they went to a pub. And in this pub, they ordered a double gin and tonic and a pint of lager, and it was £17.50.
How much?
£17.50 for double gin and tonic and a pint of lager.
It's becoming a joke, isn't it?
Well, pubs are closing on a daily basis, and there is a very good reason for that the prices. But then, do you realise that the tax on a pint of beer in an English pub is 14 times the amount of tax that you would pay in a German pub?
Yes. Yeah.
So if we're paying 14 times the amount of tax, there has to be something wrong there somewhere, isn't there?
Well, there's got to be, really, because, I mean, that's what, excuse me, you don't see the German pubs closing, not to the same extent.
I went for a pint last night after work. We went into the local hostelry and we bought 2 pints of beer, and I got a few coppers change out of a tenner.
Yeah, well, same when we went yesterday, didn't it, Mike?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Actually, that leads on to the next story. A pint of beer can actually boost language skills. That's according to a study. German students who had recently started learning Dutch were rated upon their ability to chat with native speakers. Some were given alcohol and others a non-alcoholic drink. Those who drank a small amount of alcohol did significantly better. This is according to a study published by the Journal of Psychopharmacology.
Well, there's been a few studies to say that one glass of wine can help you driving.
This is true.
It's everything in moderation, isn't it? But there's also a language called, I believe it's called rubbish. and there's no doubt about it that the more I drink, the more rubbish I can talk.
Yeah, that's true.
So yes, it does increase the.
I think Red Bull has that effect as well.
Yes, it does.
How much? Yeah, I think you must have had a bit this morning, actually. It's a top up and that.
Oh well, I am. I'm drinking sugar-free Red Bull, which is
sugar-free Red Bull.
Yeah, sugar-free. So it's in a sort of a pale blue can. Very nice.
Yeah.
It is actually it's quite true and amazing, because my wife yesterday had a very small glass of champagne to wet her great grandson's head, as it were, or birth, and she said about 2 minutes afterwards, she said, "Oh, I'm glowing now," and one of the granddaughters said to her, "Oh yes, you are, you're all red and that, I thought she said, "I'm going now," but she said, "I'm glowing now." So.
Did she get all amorous?
No, that was stupid. Good Lord. I want to. We all know it's true, but I just want to take a thing of the headline here, because the headline in this national paper said, "Proof a daily walk cuts risk of dying." Now then, it doesn't cut the risk of dying at all.
We're all going to die.
We're all going to die.
Yeah.
You know, what a stupid, pathetic headline.
This is a Citizen.
No,
It sounds like
it's actually the Daily Express. I admire headline. What do you call it?
Headline writers.
Headline writers, yes. You know, 'cause there was another one, and it said "Happy Birthday to Roo," and it was a happy birthday to Rooney. You know, because it was his birthday during the week.
Oh, his friend of ours, dog's called Roo.
His kids were in Barbados with a wife, you know, having a holiday, but they sent him a birthday. Or she sent him a birthday wishes thing on behalf of the kids. But that headline I thought was quite clever. You know, "Happy Birthday, Roo."
He was apparently spotted doing community service, wasn't he, for his driving offence the other day?
I don't know, but it's, I mean, it's not going to be as hard for him as it is for anybody else. You know, he's going to spend his time signing autographs probably, and that, you know. But.
So what else does this story say then about walking?
I mean, it just says walking for fewer than 30 minutes a day helps to reduce the chance of early death. Now that is
early death.
That's agreeing. You know, early death by staving off conditions such as cancer, heart disease. So the research says, and he goes on walking just 2.5 hours a week is associated with a 20% lower mortality risk. But that doesn't tie in with the headline, which says proof a daily walk cuts the risk of dying. So if I have a daily walk, then I ain't going to die.
You're going to die, no, you're going to be eternal, aren't you? God help us. An eternal Mike Barry, eh?
Actually, talking about that, on Radio 2, on the Simon Mayo show during the week, I think it was Wednesday, they posed these questions to the listener, which is quite good, and I think they answered them either that night or the next day, I'm not sure, but because I didn't hear the answer to this, but the question that somebody had posed to them was, if I had the money to change bits of my body that wore out, became useless, would I live forever? Mm-hmm. And I thought, well, that's a very, 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 very clever question.
Would you want to live forever?
Who wants to live forever?
Well, if you could have. You know, when your brain starts sort of going dementia-wise or whatever, so you have a transplant brain, you know, would you then live forever?
Yeah.
And but your arms and your legs as well, you know, when they get aching with arthritis and that, so you change them, you have a transplant. I mean, admittedly, you would become a different person, obviously, because you couldn't be the same person.
But, you know, if the graph keeps going the way it's going, I mean...
God, it's cold there. No, that door's been open, isn't it?
The acceleration of human life expectancy being what it is, I mean, you know, in 100 years' time, will we be living as standard to 110?
Well, quite probably.
You know,
in fact, I would suggest that in 100 years' time, we will be living normally to about 120, 130.
Well, I think somebody bought
without any money.
Well, I think there is an element of that as well. I mean, if you've got, I mean, you look at the sort of way in which some of the really rich people are living longer. I mean, what's his name? The Prince, the Queen's husband,
Prince Philip.
Cool, that went out of my head for a minute. but you know, he's getting on a bit, isn't he? But you know, he's got top medical teams working on him. And, you know, he's what? How old is he now? He must be 90s.
He's in his 90s. He's in 99, 98, something like that.
97,
Does he really?
97. You know, and he's still around. I mean, okay, he's not doing his duties as he used to be, but he's still there. And I'm sure that's as a result of, you know, expert medical attention. Will that medical attention, you know, we don't have a bottomless pit, but how much of our resources as a country are we going to put towards the NHS, I think is really going to have a dramatic change over the next couple of years, because clearly it's underfunded at the moment, and clearly it would spend any money you give it, but that balance, I think, as a percentage,
you can pump an endless amount in, and it's going to be blown.
But we need to think in terms of, you know, the amount of money we spend as part of our income on the NHS has got to go up.
I think one of the first things, and I mean, this is a debate which we should have started at the beginning of the programme rather than at the end, you know, but at the end of the day, the NHS wastes so much money. They waste more money than if money was poured into them.
You know, you can all... I hear this so often.
The
NHS...
Bob will tell you briefly,
local level,
you know, I can think of... Yes, there's endless examples where you can...
level up, and it costs... That's where they're losing.
You know, yes, I suspect that something like 25% of their budget budget is wasted.
Yes,
Yes, get real. That happens in organisations. Almost every organisation has some places they call it wastage.
Yes.
Go on, you're going to block me off now, aren't you? You're going to go, Mallyon's on a rant. Mallyon's on a run. So what happens is the music cuts in. I get it. I've been sanctioned again.
I'm sorry.
Again, I'm not allowed to carry on speaking.
Section, did you say?
Sanctioned.
Oh, sanctioned.
Sorry, but we've got to leave it.
We've got to leave it.
We've got Dave and Charlotte coming.
Dave and Charlotte are coming
They're
up.
already here. They're waiting.
But I
They're
want to go
tripping
on
at the
about the
bit.
NHS for another 2 hours. And I'm not going to be allowed to. I feel this is a form of censorship that I can no longer accept. I find it unacceptable that I
However, from me, Mike Barry,
Me, Bob Bluffield.
me, Alan Mallyon.
together, of course,
The grumpy old men.
we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Let's get a little warm. It's okay, it's alright, baby. It's all hot after fixing up clothes.